Oh yeah, hello people. How you going again? It's Chris John again. I'm here to explain my set of beliefs and ideas and information about quantum theory especially, and many societal constructs and ideas and philosophy and religion and politics and economics. Once again, follow, subscribe on X, Twitter, and like, subscribe. Thank you. Now, as humanity, we are very individualized, if you like, special, as a singularity in the universe, such as it is. Now, people like Donald Hoffman, who's a quantum theory physicist, are saying that reality and life is a simulation, a video game. For example, like GTA, Grand Theft Auto, and we've all got headsets, and the headset is space and time, and the actual supercomputer who's controlling the headset, all the infinite amount of headsets, the supercomputer who's controlling them, is the arising of consciousness, and that is the causal effect, the absolute genesis, if you will, the beginning of time, the creator. Anyone could suppose it could be God or any sort of creator type singularity event of the Big Bang before or after, and the entropy and the inflation of the universe after the Big Bang to create where we are now as 21st century modern human beings, 8 billion of us. Now, I think these are bullshit ideas, honestly. I don't like when people say that, like, it's a simulation and we don't have free will. No, we all as individuals are anomalies. And the thing that changes history are anomalies, like Adolf Hitler, Mahatma Gandhi, Martin Luther King, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, who created the rare experiment, pretty successful experiment of America in the Western world of capitalism and democracy. These people gave up their power, some of them, and used it for good. They didn't become tyrants, unlike Adolf Hitler and Stalin and Mao Zedong, and some politicians these days who turn their democratic leadership of countries, politicians as power, and they want more control, turning tyrannical and communist, more or less. I believe people are sorry, the world and the universe, planet Earth especially, and the way it's run in civilizations is a very complex, extremely complex, complicated societal construct, experiment, call it what you will, ideas, a clash of ideas, the working class, the elites. I don't believe there is any singular elites in the world, like George Soros, if you will, who's a real guy controlling the world economically or politically lobbying. So the world has always been complicated, mate. Like, people need to wake up to that fact, and if you realise the difference between objective truths and subjective truths, which subjective truths, a lot of them are lies. There's objective truths, which are also called unalienable facts, which are common for all human beings and all laws and all natural laws of physics, chemistry, biology, etc. These unalienable, never-changing facts about human nature and the universe and the physics of it, scientifically, can't be changed, really. Like, we're all evolved from the predator-prey instinct, fight or flight, from our ancestors thousands of years ago as primates, apes, evolved into Homo sapiens. We all still have these instincts inside of us in our cognitive biological makeup of our brains and our instincts and our nervous systems. Now, as far as that goes, a lot of people these days, more or less, the majority of the population are pretty dumb and sort of docile and placid. It's the majority that doesn't matter. The majority doesn't matter throughout history. It's always been the minorities, and the minorities have always been extremists in society and history, like Genghis Khan, Alexander the Great, etc., the warmongers. For example, these days, Islamic terrorism, they're the extremists, they would probably make up 5% of the Muslim population around the world. They're the minority extremists that matter and hurt everybody else, do damage to the world, society. So, saying that, like, there's always the extremists in the world that are going to make a difference, and, etc., etc. So I think the majority of the population of humanity, especially today in the 21st century, we've got mainstream media, Hollywood, social media, the internet, a lot of information, and information is basically just propaganda. People tend to believe what others believe, what they want to believe, what they know they think is right, but it may be wrong in 100 years. So people connotate and assimilate with each other in common ground thinking, and they follow each other like sheep. And who's the shepherd leading the sheep? Well, that could be God or religion, political leaders, finance gurus, scientists paving the way like Einstein and Machiavelli, Da Vinci throughout history, and Stephen Hawking and Isaac Newton. Now, a lot of these guys have great ideas. They're full of objective truths which can't be changed, like the laws of physics. But I think people thinking in the way that some people think we might be living in a simulation in planet Earth in the 21st century reality, people think they might be able to change the video game of the simulation into like waving a magic wand. But this is simply bullshit. It's bullshit. It's never gonna happen. It's impossible. There are objective truths and facts about reality. You can't get away from the facts of reality. None of us can. There's 8 billion people. We're all different. As I said, most of us follow the leader. The majority don't matter. And we're all propagandized and through fear-mongering and emotions. But really, what was I going to say? Like, basically, religion is a big part of society and civilization throughout history. Religion, personally, I believe YOLO, the expression YOLO, you only live once. Um, like, we're born, we live, we die. There's not much spirituality about it in reality and life. There is religion. Religion can be seen as like an artwork, or a nice painting on the wall, or a image or a saying of a Mahatma Gandhi or whatever, or Nelson Mandela, what good things they'll say. Altruistic altruism. Now, these are good things to believe. They're nice things like a piece of artwork, a painting on the wall. They're good things to look at, and they're good things to believe and see in everyone else, but they're simply lies. People are selfish. They do what they do for their family. They reproduce. They feed each other, go to work, feed each other, reproduce for the next generation, thinking that they'll be loved by their family or their peers, friends, or the next generation's even going to remember them and love them, but they're not going to. Like, people move on very quickly, and they're very selfish, especially in this 21st century age of emotional reaction through propaganda, or from the cause and effects of propaganda. People are very emotional. I believe we are in an age of mass psychosis where people are delusional. They believe the propaganda, or they don't know what to believe. The formation of independent media, social media on the internet, leads people to question reality and believe it's a simulation. Now, that's all lies. It's all well and good to go against the mainstream media and the evil that they're propagating and they're showing, like about the bloodshed around the world, starvation and bloodshed around the world. People are not designed to see such violence, and they never have been. We've always been loving and creative for one another and our families around our local area communities, but the way the influence machine and propaganda is basically, it's propaganda information, like religion. People only believe in God, or many gods. People only believe in God and Jesus or whatever because they want to ease their fear of dying, maybe. And some other people, like politicians, use power and religion to control people, enslave people, enrich themselves. Now, this is disgraceful, obviously, and morally and ethically wrong. If you want to control people, basically manipulate people and make them all scared so they're normal, and they make them a majority that never matters in life, in the world. Now, this is ridiculous. It's only the violence in people's attitudes that changes the world sometimes, for good or evil. Like, that cause revolutions and protesting. These are just facts about history. And to know the violence of history, I'm not talking about religion, because religion can be a very good thing, good, not bad. It can be very good and altruistic and loving. Religion can be great to make people, or sort of convince people to believe in loving things like taking care of one another and getting along, and voluntary reciprocation in business, in life, in families, like we have the ideas of capitalism. Capitalism is only a voluntary reciprocation of business. People doing business with each other voluntarily, and if someone doesn't like a product, they'll go to another business, a different business, and it's a competition, but it's voluntary. There are laws and there are criminals in the world, but some people cheat in life, and a lot of people do the right thing by the laws. But a minority are probably a social construct, like gender theory. Like all this bullshit about a man can be a woman and a woman can be a man and a child can be indoctrinated into sex change. These are obviously morally and ethically wrong ideas. They could be called evil. But as I said, there are objective truths and unalienable facts in reality that go beyond anything that they go beyond our local ideas of everything. Now, these guys in quantum theory are talking about local quantum field theory, where reality is the observed and the observer. Say, for example, if you close your eye, if I close my eyes, then I can't see anything and I'm only aware of nothing, which is a meditative state. In spirituality and religion, like, I've never seen God, so why should I believe in God when it's only designed to create good and evil, like the moral and ethics guidelines instead of spiritual beliefs or community beliefs around how people should behave and what they should do in life, which is religion, spiritual and ethical guidelines of how to behave and treat each other. When we think about history, I mean, like, there's obviously 100 million people have been tortured and died in the name of Marxism, what Karl Marx wrote about communism in the 20th century. There's so much crime in the world throughout history, so much bloodshed, starvation, slavery, drug use, drug trafficking, human trafficking. There is so much evil throughout history and in the world now. It's gotten better, believe me. Society has gotten a lot better from the 19th, 20th, 21st century for democracy and capitalism and since the Industrial Revolution. But basically, throughout history and even today, there's just still so much wrongdoing, and who would ever believe in that there's a good God? I'm not suggesting people become atheists and satanic, because that's the same as believing in God and believing that all the evil in the world is somehow good. It's like moving forwards in reverse. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, if people want to believe in God and forgiveness, that's a good thing, not bad, because that creates forgiveness and voluntary reciprocal trade in business and in family and in life and in community discourse. Believing in Jesus, for example, one of the many, like Buddha and whatever. Now, it's a good thing for society, and it's a social construct which we tend to believe, can be great. It can be beautiful, lovely to believe in forgiveness and all those ideas. But I believe religion is probably just a social construct, and there's not much of a spiritual element to life and reality. Even a simulation, even a saying it's a simulation, that's a spiritual construct. Social construct, spiritual construct. Saying it's a simulation, like in terms of this life after death, or the world is or like there's a lot of like there's a multiverse, and there's an infinite amount of possibilities and lives, and that we could all live infinitely throughout space-time, throughout the multiverse. These are just social constructs and spiritual constructs, I believe, at the moment, because I mean, I was raised Christian, but still believe in Christianity and forgiveness and God. There has to be some sort of creator before the Big Bang. But really, there's many social constructs, like I said, gender theory. I mean, even crime is a social construct of economics. The scarcity principle of economics, where people get rich and the poor people steal from the rich people, and they do all sorts of disgusting, evil things in the name of what they think is good, and playing like a Robin Hood sort of role. Many criminals probably believe that they are. I don't know, like, I'm not a criminologist, or I'm not a criminal, but they believe it's good. The rich believe it's evil. The rich believe like the rich get rich, the poor get poorer. I mean, if you believe in like these things, and there's a good altruistic divine nature and spiritual intervention in life, why is there so much evil and pain and suffering and torture and death throughout history? I'm not talking about localized events. I'm talking about massive upheavals of the rise and fall of civilizations. So much evil. I mean, Genghis Khan, I mean, wars, the Roman Empire, slavery, the gladiator arena, the Dark Ages of the Vikings, just people being brutal barbarians to one another. And that's not the way we should live as human beings. And thankfully, in the 21st century, with democracy and capitalism and technology, a lot of good technology has made the scarcity principle in economics available to the majority, where we can live decent lives, and we do have the rule of law. But anyway, I think I've just debunked the theory of religion, debunked the theory of simulation, hypothesis in quantum theory, so I think all that's bullshit. It's lies. I mean, people need to believe in something, and they want it. For example, women want men to be leaders, protect and provide, and women be the gatherers, or women be the procreators, the gatekeepers to sex and reproduction, and the caregivers, whereas men have to go out and work hard and build the infrastructure. 99% of it is built by men in the world, and they have to protect and provide for their women and husband, their woman, their wife and their family and their kids. This has always been throughout history. Our ancestors had traditional values, even though we don't have many traditional values as much these days. Our ancestors taught us this, and that's the way we are as biologically wired as human beings since the Homo sapiens first arrived in Africa. And this is the way society's going, and it should be like that, and it's a good thing, but we are a singularity as a human species, human civilization, humanity. 8 billion different people. Good luck to you all. So I think there's, in life, in society, in the world, there's anomalies. I mean, like geniuses, for example, or world leaders that, like Donald Trump, that actually changed the world. And nobody can predict the future, I believe. Like, some people believe the human mind is human brain is a predictive thinking machine. Now, I think that's bullshit and lies. I think people can't predict the future. Nobody knows what's going to happen in the 22nd century with AI, 100 years from now with AI and all that technology. People would never be able to predict that, let alone 100 years from now. It's impossible, let alone an economic collapse or another depression or recession, especially after the 2024 election in American politics of Donald Trump and Kamala Harris. People probably just can't predict that. There might be chaos, there might be peace, but as I said, a lot of the world and reality and life is propaganda, and we believe what we're emotionally triggered by as human beings. A lot of us, a lot of people can't think logically through situations to the end. And saying that, life is a means to an ends, and we're all here, so we may as well all try to get along and be peaceful and civilized, especially in this day and age, in the 21st century, and what we've learnt from history. We all should try to get along with each other and be kind to one another. But there's a lot of people that believe in lies and selfish ideas of materialism and hedonism, pleasure seeking, which is hedonism. There's some satanic people, there's some Robin Hood criminals, there's some evil criminals, there's some evil politicians, and people tend to go fishing with ideas and believe what they want to believe or manipulate others. And I think it's the whole thing about psychology of the 21st century, a mass psychosis. The majority of the population, the masses, are in a psychotic, delusional, schizophrenic state of mind at the moment. They all follow each other and they all believe in the fear. They all give in to fear. That's the thing. In the 21st century, with information and the internet propaganda,